Welcome back. Now, throughout the afternoon, I feel that we have touched upon the exciting opportunities, but also the challenge there is to really take good care of the pet, take good skin care of the pet, while keeping the pet owners happy and loyal. And what we would like to explore now is, could we approach this and perhaps achieve better results if we worked in strong, sustainable derma teams? And with us now, we actually have such a team from the dermatology clinic Evidensia Södra Djursjukhuset. I believe we have there's a nice picture of that. There you go. And they are actually, you can see there in the picture as well that they're located in Stockholm, here in Sweden. And they have a fantastic team of 3 diplomates that you can see in the top row there. And they also have 2 residents and 1 specialist in dermatology, cats and dogs. And then they also have an amazing team of nurses. And with us now, we should have Kerstin Bergvall, who is a vet and diplomat of European College of Veterinary Dermatology. She's also the head of dermatology team at Evidensia Södra Djursjukhuset. We also have with us Cecilia Friberg, who's a vet and diplomat, and Elisabeth Nilsson, dermatology nurse and team leader. Hello, everybody at Evidensia.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Can you hear us properly?
We can hear you and we can see you and you look amazing. So good to see you. That's so nice. That's so cute how you're so close to each other there. So good to have you with us. And I'm going to hand it over to you because you're going to share with us some of the experiences and some of the great benefits that you feel working in the derma teams like you do at your clinic.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that really nice introduction. So now when we're going to talk about the dermatology team, what we think is really important can essentially actually be described in 4 words. And these are team, education, support, and sustainability. So if we start with the first word, we're going to talk a little bit of what these words means to us. And if we start with the first word, to me, what does team really mean? It means that each of us in the team has a loyalty to the team. So we work together and we help each other, and that all of us actually have an honest interest to function as a team within the team, but also together with the client, the owners, to make the best possible for the patient.
Yeah, I think it means everything to working in a team. We can help more clients with our pets and be the team, just what Kerstin told you about the vet, owner and nurse, be the team together around the pet, so the pet doesn't know it has allergy or other skin disease. And it's lots of fun to work in a team.
Okay, if we then go further to the second word, education, I think that continuing education is a strong fundament with a high priority, but not only for the veterinarians, but also for the nurses of the team. So we participate in dermatology meetings and congresses, and then when we come back, we discuss together what we have been able to bring back for the team. And we also have something that we call dermatology rounds. Those are scheduled, so we have them once weekly. And during these dermatology rounds, we read scientific papers and discuss the content, but we also discuss cases, either very interesting cases or difficult cases, or cases that we just need to discuss. And on these dermatology rounds, we participate, all of us in the team, veterinarians and nurses alike, because we think that educated nurses are fantastic resources in client communication.
And from my perspective, one of the important things with education is that the dermatologists who are working here, we all come from different parts of the world. So our backgrounds are also very different, including our education, our dermatology residencies, our continuing education. It's varied. So my own training is in the United States, and then we have Kerstin's training, which is and in Sweden with extensive collaborative work throughout Europe and the United States. And then we have Alison Wilson, who has done her training and practice in the United Kingdom. And then we have our dermatology residents. Lena is from Sweden, and then we have Victoria from Lithuania. And they're currently training and always bringing in new ideas and questions to the group. So all these perspectives and experiences are very broad-based that we can assemble in a very unique way.
Okay, let's continue with the next word. Did you have anything on education? Yes, you have. Sorry.
Yes, it's important to have a learning and a developing attitude in the team, and special time for nurses to teach other new nurses how they can develop in dermatology at their own speed. We also have checklists for health. So we know that everyone had the information and can do each detail and moment the way we do, and and also have possibility to grow with the task.
Okay, so now let's move on to the next word, which is support. So what does that mean to us? Well, to support each other in the team in all ways, with a gentle attitude and without hierarchy. And to support the clients, we have also an own separate telephone line into the dermatology service so that the owners can reach us during the hours that we work. If they prefer to call us during the night hours, around midnight, for example, they can, because we have an answering machine also, and then we listen to that message in the morning and we can contact the owner. We think that personal communication is really rewarding and much better than just having an email contact with the owners, because the emails tend to go back and forth and you can't hear if they really appreciate what you say, if they understand you. You have to listen to the tune of the owners. But support also means support of the team. On our dermatology rounds that we talked about before, that we actually have scheduled once weekly, we also bring up and discuss what can be changed or improved in the way we work. And here it's really important to listen to the nurses, because nurses see things that we veterinarians don't. Yeah.
So from my perspective as a relative newcomer to Sweden, support also extends into the Swedish culture and the policies. And from country to country and also from group to group, there's going to be different cultures that are going to be encountered. And I think it's important to know that in Sweden, a 40-hour work week is going to pay a living wage for everyone. And everyone receives 5 weeks of annual paid vacation. So this allows the doctors, nurses, and all of the staff to recuperate, to recharge, and then put forth their absolute best efforts. And when they are at work, healthcare is something that is available to everyone, not tied to your job. And both mothers and fathers are also entitled to generous parental leave. Now, from the perspective of the pet owners, many, if not most pet owners, have insurance for their pets. And this helps immensely for us when we're then able to provide the high quality service to the patients that come and see us.
And support in the team group is also, it's important to have trust and confidence that we have the same goal, provide good quality of work, commitment, well-being, and taking care of each other, and an great openness. positive attitude, that we are open-minded, and good communication. It's important for us.
Okay, should we move on to the last important word, the sustainability? So last, but certainly not least, sustainability. What do we mean here? How can we make good people stay on the team? And how can we make people continue to have the energy to do a good job? Here we think that the team spirit and inter-member support is very important. And we also think that for each of the members in the group, it is important to know and to have the feeling that the team is actually interested in what I, as a member of the team, need, see, and think. And of course, everyone wants to develop. So again, continuing education is important. And maybe also having some study projects going on makes work a lot more interesting. And another thing when it comes to sustainability of the group is to allocate enough time for each patient. Because time is the most important, critically important, I would say, tool. It's very important and very expensive tool that we have in dermatology, but it is as important, I would say, that's the way I see it, as important as the availability of imaging diagnostic tools for someone who works with orthopedic patients. So without that, we can't really do a professional job.
And from my perspective, we're all different in what our needs are, and those all have to be taken into account. And we're all human. We have our ups and our downs, our struggles and our successes. And we as a team work very hard at helping each other out when somebody needs it. So the other part of sustainability that I see is that as a group, we all, the doctors and nurses, when these personal needs occur, we cover each other's the time that somebody may need to be out of the clinic, or if somebody needs an extra hand or needs a few days off. That happens very easily, and everybody helps each other out. And I very much appreciate that.
Yeah, and I can describe how it works here. We have several referrals from other vets and lots of calls from owners. And we phone them back and book the appointments and ask them to visit our website and to write the history online. And it will be incorporated in the record. And we also order records from other vets. We work Monday to Saturday and 2 days a week. It's also possible for the pet owners to come in the evening or Saturdays. We book 60 minutes for new clients and 30 for rechecks.
I think maybe we could have a look at what our consult rooms look like if we have that film available.
It's coming up here.
Super. Here you see Cecilia Friberg opening one of our consult rooms, and let's go in here. And if we stop here by the whiteboard, because the whiteboard, if you stop the film by the whiteboard, the whiteboard is a very important tool for us. Here we describe what we think and we draw pictures to explain to the owners. And it's really not rare that the owners want to take a photo from that whiteboard. So, because when we work with the clients, we don't know what learning profile they have. Is it by listening or by looking or whatever? So that whiteboard is really important. Then if we continue to look in the room, you also saw a ventilation hood. And at that ventilation hood, we can stain. If you move on a little bit here, that's where it is. Stop. We stain our cytology slides in the room, so we don't have to leave the room to continue to do our work. And if you continue the film, start it again, and let's move around in the room a little bit more, you get to the next, you can go closer a little bit more, because what we have there, stop. That's the video otoscope, so we can show to the owners what the animals look like in the ears. And then if you continue the film, you can also see that we have the microscope in the room. And we have actually here, you can stop there. We have the microscope connected to a big screen, so we can show to the owner what we look at under the microscope. And that gives us a better ear from the client when we explain what they need to do. And we also have the possibility to look at slides together and discuss what we see. So that's the room.
And the other advantage that we have also, the nurses will come into the exam rooms with us, and they will assist us throughout the examinations by staining the slides, providing various equipment that we need to make the appointments run smoothly. We're also looking at samples, or afterwards, the nurses can then talk to the clients and go over more detailed procedures and recommendations that need to be done. For example, the food elimination diets can be very complicated, and the nurses are very well trained, so they can go through with the client and troubleshoot the various questions and maybe pet-specific, owner-specific issues that they may have. And then when we're finished, we write down all of the discharge instructions, and the nurses will review those with the pet owners to make sure that they don't have any questions and that everything has been answered.
And I can explain it about how we nurses work. Apart from what's already been described, we arrange the payment plan, and the nurse also have separate list of nurse appointments, and we give cytopoint injections. We perform prescriptive therapeutical laser treatments. We teach owners how to give different type of immunotherapy. We order immunotherapy, and we prepare intradermal tests. And of course, we have lots of phone calls with owners and other clients for support, booking time, booking appointment time. And also, if we are too busy, we rely on this answer machine.
Okay, so in conclusion, we think that a strong, efficient, and successful dermatology team relies on a genuine team atmosphere, or we atmosphere. We're not just solitaires happening to work in the same place, but all tasks are our tasks, and we help and stand up for each other. And we also think that it is critically important to prioritize continuing education, but involving all members of the group, but in a friendly atmosphere. And we think that it is essential to have a sensitivity to meet the members' needs, because we think that if you feel safe, listen to you, and get the premises that you need to have the ability to work, you're so much better off to be able to provide a good, professional, and high-quality service to your clients. And then if we take the last picture, don't forget to celebrate. You can click on that again, so we see that it is, There's always a chance to celebrate something, and take that opportunity, because we also need to have fun. And what you see here is a cake, because we didn't celebrate when it's time to go for vacation. We celebrated when the autumn started and everyone was back in business. And what you see here on the cake, do you see the decoration? Do you see what it is? It's a hair follicle. Mainly, basically, remember, also have fun together, because that gives you energy. Okay.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. That was wonderful. Well done. What a great presentation. And did you like it in the audience as well? You got a lot of good advice here. It felt very hands-on and very practical. And a couple of things that I picked up on that I think ties in very well to what we've talked about today. First off, we've talked so much about how we can best communicate with the millennials, but what we shouldn't forget, no matter what age you're in, you have different learning profiles. And I think that was very important that you addressed that we learn in different ways. And I love the fact that you have your whiteboard, and that was one way of communicating and making sure that you get your message across. Another thing that I loved is we had our millennial pet owner in here, Marlene, earlier today, and she talked about how she appreciated transparency and that she was a part of the whole process. And we could see in your room here that you did the test and everything was there. So you didn't just disappear and I didn't know what was going on. It was part of the process. When I look down there, it is because I want to see you on the screen. So I want to see your faces. So I'm just seeing the lens here. But so I really think that was great. And I love, and thank you for really pointing that out, how important it is that we support each other and that when we look at sustainability, we also remember the mental and emotional sustainability of the team and how important it is that we are there for each other, but we also are there for ourselves and really take care of ourselves in the process. So great job pointing that out. And I was wondering, one thing that we've talked a lot about today is that how do you find the time to do all these things, all these new things, and working in these teams and so forth? And I love the whole aspect of your dermatology rounds. I think that could be a typical thing that you would normally say, we don't have time for that. What would you say to someone who went back and said, I think we should do this? What would you say, what would be your sales pitch?
Okay, what we said when we discussed this before, it's really important to make it easy to work. So pick the right people for your team from the beginning. Try very hard to involve someone who's really interested in the team building. And for getting a nurse who is interested in, shows interest in dermatology, and build your team around that. Another thing, have your microscope in the consulting room if you have a possibility, because it's not only sharing with the owners, but it also saves you time, and that decreases the amount of stress that you have. If you have to leave the room to look at the slides and then realize, oh shit, I'm sorry. Oh, I need to take more samples to examine. Then you have to go back and forth. That it's only giving you a lot of stress. So have your microscope available very close to the room, or preferably in the room. And prioritize continuing education. And we think that already when you start, maybe because it's not that common that dermatology consultations are super acute. So you could decide what days in a week. Maybe you just want to start with 1 day a week devoted to dermatology, because then you can have your dermatology round to discuss. You have all the cases collected in 1 day, so you can have your own nurse and your own veterinarian and so on. Yeah, that's the first things we would like to recommend when you start.
Yeah. Perhaps we should take a look at the results from the poll where we asked, what is your current clinic status in the perspective of focusing on dermatology? And on that first question we work more than 3 days per week with derma cases. So 63% said that, and 31% work 1 to 2 days with the derma cases. But then we also asked, what is your current clinic status in the perspective of focusing? Oh, that was that was the same question, or are those two different questions? What is your client? All of us, okay, so the answers at least, all of us work with derma cases, 61%. We have one dedicated person for that, 25%, and we have a dedicated team for that. Okay, so it just shows a little bit how the team has been developed. But back to you, I had a question too about the fact that we've talked a lot about communication throughout the day. What would you say is the culture at your clinic and in how you communicate well with each other?
With each other in the group?
Yes. I'm thinking that in order for you to have this kind of team spirit, the communication in between the team members must also be very good.
I think I can address that. We have an office where we have everyone sitting at the computers, and so we are in the same room when we're not in the exam rooms. So we do talk a lot back and forth and share ideas, share cases, share questions. And it does, you do have to learn how to focus when you're trying to sort out the sort of way when you have to do something. But everybody's really good about, if there's a question, they'll say it and somebody's going to help out. At least someone. Often several different ideas come across to the person asking the question.
Then we also start the day with a morning fika. We did fika, coffee to just set the day and divide the tasks and so on. And that gives a good start. And then the dermatology rounds are really sacred time because it's so important so that we can share with each other. But I think maybe one of the most important things is not to have a hierarchy. It's a flat structure and we have an ear to we try to have an ear to each other, all of us.
Mm. Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that. And also I take with me that when in doubt, always, and I repeat, always listen to the nurses. Am I right about that?
Yes.
Good.
It's essential.
Good. Thank you very much.